Hi, I'm Laura Calvert, Executive Director of Elawa Farm Foundation, and you are listening to the Lake Forest Podcast.
2 thumbs up. All right, let's get this jalopy going, Skoo. Welcome to the Lake Forest Podcast, a podcast about the lovely city of Lake Forest, featuring topics like local news, sports, music, people, and food. My name is Pete, and I'm joined by my fine co-host, Skoo Walker. Skoo, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing great for a Monday.
For a Monday, that's right. We got
Very
you on
hot
a
Monday.
Hot and humid Monday.
In
We
beautiful
both
Lake Forest.
live in Lake Forest. Hey, we got a sponsor for the show, Neuro Noodle. Hey, parents of athletes, your kids get a physical every year, right? We'll include a brain map so you have a baseline to compare it to in case something happens. It takes only 20 minutes to get the data you need to know if your athlete should go back on the field. And if your athlete gets hurt, you got to have good insurance, right, Skoo?
Absolutely.
You know any insurance companies out there?
I know a lot of insurance companies, Pete, but Dakota Insurance is probably the top one you should come to.
Dakota Insurance Group, they've got your back. Why? Because that's what friends are for. Visit dakotainsurancegroup.com, ask for Pam. All right. One of the things we like to do here at the Lake Forest Podcast is put a spotlight on our local businesses and entities. We are joined today by Laura Calvert. She's the executive director of the Elawa Farm Foundation. Let's chat with Laura and find out what's the latest at Elawa Farm. Laura, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Hello.
So please tell us about you. I see 770. Are you a Georgia person?
Only that was a small part of my life. I'm not from there originally. I actually grew up in central Illinois, outside of Peoria, and come from a long line of farmers, which makes my transition to Elawa so awesome for me. So I grew up down there. After college, I traveled to Europe and backpacked there for a summer and got reacquainted with small scale agriculture, because when I was growing up, I could not wait to leave the corporate small hometown behind. And then after I traveled in Europe, I landed in Atlanta, where I worked on a small scale organic farm outside of the city. Then I bounced to the central coast of California, where I lived and worked on a farm. And then was excited to come back to the Midwest, and I got a job at the Botanic Garden. So I worked there for 8+ years, helping to develop their urban agriculture job training program called Windy City Harvest. Then did some policy work for urban farmers in Chicago, and then came here to Elawa Farm Foundation last January. So my background is in agriculture and education, and I could not be more thrilled to be here at Elawa.
How many pair of boots you own?
I own several pairs of boots, one for a different occasion, like the real work boots, the rain boots, and then the boots that where I'm like, I could wear these to a meeting, but also walk the field in these boots as well.
Okay. So you're new to the area. I'm 3 years in. And Skoo, what is Elawa to you? How long have you known about it? Is it a farm? Because I go to the website, I'm like, is this a place where I can get dinner? What? Pull me in, because we got 1,000 new people moving into the area.
I'm not going to take away from Laura's thunder, but it was a gentleman's farm way back when, and the city helped rejuvenate it several years ago into what it is today. And it's a fantastic place. They have weddings out there, wildlife discovery centers out there. It's just a great place and a great neighbor.
All right, now clean that up, Laura. Tell
No,
now get to the real stuff.
Great elevator pitch. No, you're absolutely right. The farm was built in 1917 for the A. Watson Armour family, who ran Armour and Company, which was the largest meat packing company in the world at the turn of the 20th century. And about 25 years ago, the city purchased this property. The foundation was formed to help raise support for its historic restoration. Because it was designed by David Adler and Alfred Hopkins, it's considered architecturally significant. So yeah, that was kind of the first chapter of the foundation, was getting the restoration and renovation done. And now we're at this new exciting chapter where that has finished. we're looking towards our future, which is really building out our educational programming, getting folks of all ages to, connect the local food system. And we do that in a lot of different ways, whether that's from, our weekly market that's going on, to kids classes, to summer camps, to farm dinners, which we've rolled out this year with our chef who joined last summer. So, we are really trying to position ourselves as a regional education center around food and agriculture and get folks interested in that, as well as, make our food as accessible as possible. So as a response to the pandemic, we've been donating and distributing our healthy produce across Lake County. So it's a beautiful thing.
Got it. So it's a foundation. Who does the foundation help? Like, really talk to me like I'm a 10-year-old. I'm trying to sell me. You take donations.
Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah. So, I work for the foundation, and, our goal is to just, provide community programming and raise support to help enable us to do that. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We take donations, apply for grants, as well as, have earned revenue through our different programs. So, really what we're trying to do is raise money to support the programming that we direct and manage here. That's all about getting youth and adults engaged in the local food system, and provide education around that through many different touch points.
Now, where are you located at?
So we are on the west side of Lake Forest at 1401 Middlefork Drive. So we're right off Waukegan, just north of Deer Path. So we're tucked away a little bit off Waukegan. You drive in, you pass a neighborhood. What's also really special about our location is we are next to the Middlefork Savanna, which is more than 600 acres of native tallgrass savanna. Which I've learned that there's only 2 of those in North America. One of them is Middlefork. I don't know where the second one is. I keep meaning to look that up. And then we're also adjacent to open land. So it's beautiful and just a lot of open space.
I mean, can I buy tomatoes there?
Absolutely. And they are just coming in season. So in the next week or 2, we will have heirloom, organically grown tomatoes, like the big ones, as well as cherry tomatoes. So it's, grown right here. Our farm is about 2 acres, all sustainable practices, nutrient dense. I mean, you can't get a better tomato than what you grow here.
Next to the farmer's market?
Yes. So we do have a market that runs every Friday and Saturday, 8 to 1 p.m. from mid-May to mid-October. So we are in, high summer, full swing for our harvest season.
So the parents bring their kids out there, they look around, what?
Absolutely. So it's free to walk our grounds, any day of the year. We encourage families and folks to come out and walk through our gardens. We have chickens, we have beehives, and just explore. And then our market is on Friday and Saturday. We also share the campus with the Wildlife Discovery Center, which is really cool. And, that's a free program as well. And then we just have various youth programming from, summer camps to free public tours and free family activities, which we do the last Saturday of the month. So we're coming up to one this coming weekend where our educator will be leading a tour both in English and then in Spanish. And then we will do an activity called Taste the Rainbow, which is learning about the seasonality of produce and checking out all the different colors of the rainbow that you can find in our garden.
Well, Skoo and I could probably make a couple of donations based on some of the reviews we've gotten. We could give you some manure.
Just make sure it's aged and composted.
Aged and like, how long does it need to be aged?
I think 6 months.
6 months? Okay.
Yeah.
We got a ways to go then.
Well,
let me know.
Actually, that's about how long this podcast has been around, Skoo, about 6 months.
That's why I said it.
So what other events do we have coming up? So you have this Saturday.
Yeah.
We're going to come into the fall. Is it like hay rides, pumpkins, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, so we also do monthly kind of farm market festivals. So we just had Flower Fest a couple weekends ago. I think on August 14th, we will have our Harvest Fest, which is just a bigger market day on Saturday where we bring in additional vendors, do more family programming. Our chef gets involved, and, that will be all about, how do you properly harvest in the garden? How can you preserve that, tasting and trying new recipes. And then in the fall, we will have a fall fest, which will, be all about, the hay rides, the pumpkins, apple cider donuts, all of those fun things.
Apple cider donuts.
Yeah. And then we do monthly farm dinners as well, which have been a huge hit. So that's a more intimate dinner experience where our chef prepares a real farm to table meal. We host it on a Saturday night. We have open seating in our hay barn for 24. We also have a private dining option, and he's transforming our garden's harvest as well as purchasing from local farms, like all of the meat, eggs, dairies coming from local farms, into a really wonderful dinner in the most beautiful location. So we do a farm tour to start with cocktails, have dinner, and then in the evening with dessert around the bonfire. We've done house-made s'mores before, which has been a big hit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Skoo, growing up back in the day, what was going on at the farm in your neck of the woods?
When I was growing up, it was dilapidated and pretty much run down and all that. There weren't houses out there or anything.
When did they start fixing it up?
It was, a few years ago. I mean,
yeah, I think the early 2000s. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it's new for everybody. All right. So
hey,
Laura,
with prior to COVID, there used to be several weddings that used to go out there during the summer and all that. Have you guys recovered from that? Are you guys having weddings still? What's all that going on now?
Yeah. So last year was obviously a quiet year for weddings and private events. We have seen the return of those this year, which has been great. And, to some extent, we will always be an event venue, but we're really kind of turning our sights on being an educational center. So we're focusing a lot of our attention on, community-based programming, classes, workshops, camps, partnerships, while still doing some event venues. But that's a lot of work to host weddings.
Oh, yeah. Are you partnering with Wildlife Discovery on the educational stuff? I know they do some educational stuff too.
Yeah, we have, which has been really fun. So we partner with them with a lot of our youth programming, particularly with our camps. So when we have our summer camps here, we'll always do a day with Wildlife Discovery Center, which the kids love the animals. And when they do their camps, they'll do a day with us where they're, meeting the chickens and getting their hands dirty and learning about the garden. So that's been a really nice partnership.
What a cool place.
And I also want to mention, if I can, we do have our fundraiser coming up in September, and partnering with Colonial to do the catering. So we are very excited about that. So this is
who's doing the catering? You faded out.
Sure, Lake Colonial.
Joe King, my man.
Yeah, he came through. We are so grateful that they're partnering with us on this dinner. It's going to be out in the garden. It's going to be beautiful. They're, bringing in their team to make it happen. And they're going to be doing the cocktails, the dinner.
Oh, wow.
We'll have music and dancing in the hay barn. So I think it's going to be the event of the season.
You still, I've always been fascinated with the root cellar.
Yes.
Is that operational, or Pete, we got to get you out there to go see that.
What?
Yeah.
What's a root cellar?
So a root cellar is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's an underground cellar that was very common on farms back in the day before refrigeration to hold, fruits and vegetables, particularly root crops like carrots, turnips, onions, potatoes over the winter. And they would keep those crops relatively fresh so people could eat vegetables over the winter. So we still have one on site It's structurally sound, intact, which is pretty uncommon nowadays. And we still use it right now. It houses a lot of our farm supplies and equipment, but our chef is interested in, getting it back to its original use. So we can, put some root crops down there, maybe put some crocks of sauerkraut and experiment with, fermented stuff. So
Root beer.
It's really cool. It's cool.
We'll have to grow some sassafras, but yeah,
that's it.
I'm into that. We'll get you some Pete's root beer over there. But
Beautiful.
What's interesting, what I've heard since coming to Lake Forest is urban lore says, a lot of folks think it was a fallout shelter from the 1960s.
We could go there when anything happens, Pete.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. When the pandemic started, I was like, oh man, if things get really bad, I'm just going to move here to the farm. I've got all of my needs taken care of.
We got to do our podcast there when the politics come back around, Skoo.
You can go in the root cellar. That's too claustrophobic for me.
Yeah.
If my head fits in there. So Laura, can you suggest somebody else to come on the show? Maybe some of your partners or whatnot. Let's give them some love.
Oh, good question.
Don't need the answer now, but we'll cut this out and you can, email us later.
Yeah. Let me noodle that.
Yeah, noodle it. Noodle. I like noodle.
That Nero noodle.
I'll Nero noodle this. There's a plug. So these folks, they need to be living or working in Lake Forest. Is that the parameter?
Can we connect them to you? You know what I mean? Because Highwood, Highland Park, people from Lake Forest travel out there, anybody that we can give a plug to, name a charity, that you're helping out or whatnot, no problem. We're trying to spread the love.
Yeah, cool. I'll think about that and I'll let y'all know.
Okay. What I'd love to do is get you on the calendar, let's just say 90 days or whatever, bring you back and you have events that are coming up. We can do a quick, hey, you got this going on, you got the event in September and whatnot. Would love to.
Okay, yeah, I am open anytime.
Or you said real quick that the dinners, they're monthly dinners that people can come in for?
Yep, they're monthly dinners. You can get more information on our website. We open registration about 2 to 3 weeks in advance, and they've been selling out. And we also plan to do winter dinners as well and get a little bit themed with them. Like we're noodling, doing a Wisconsin supper club style dinner for sometime this winter, right?
Now on the website, does it for each dinner, do you have an advanced menu or is it?
We've been playing, we give an idea of generally what to expect, and we're trying to hone that in a little bit more. But yeah, we always have vegetarian, gluten-free options. We always go with some kind of theme. But yeah, we want to get a little bit more detailed with that going on and get more into themes as well.
And all the food's right there on the farm.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in. Skoo, we got to go.
Do it.
How many places we say we got to go? Anybody keeping track?
Share your Lake Forest bucket list.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you never be bored in Lake Forest. There's a lot of things to do.
Oh, man. Well, now I know. Elawa Farms, the foundation. Come out. Go out there. Saturdays are big. You can get a good steak out there, huh?
Exactly. And we got a smoker out there, so our chef is always smoking meats if you're into that as well. So it's amazing. Like everything we do in-house, all the jams, preserves, sauces, everything. It's hard to come by a meal like that,
The farmers market's fabulous, and just to walk out there in the savannah as well as just kind of catching the sunset, it's spectacular.
Yeah.
Something you got to get out to. Yeah, you do. You love it.
City kids got to go out and check it out. Okay, I got it. Well, Laura, we thank you so much for coming on the Lake Forest Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to seeing you guys on the farm.
Oh, you'll notice us right away. Just look for the manure. We'll
we
edit
will
that
use
out
that
as
to
post.
fertilize our
Edit
vegetables.
that. That's right.
Don't you worry.
Hopefully not this show.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Lake Forest Podcast. Please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and smash that like button on Facebook, Instagram, and follow us on Twitter. Let us know what you'd like to hear about on the upcoming shows. Again, I'm Pete, and I can be reached at pete@lakeforestpodcast.com. The link will be in the show notes below. And then, Laura, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you over on the website? What's the website?
Our website is elawafarm.org. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Elawa Farm.
Perfect. On behalf of my co-host, Skoo Walker, we thank you for listening. And if you really, really, really like us, subscribe to us on Patreon for only $5 for a beer, Skoo. Subscribe to us and you get a fine koozie. And you're invited to our kegger, maybe someday at Elawa Farms. Cue the band.